Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. What an honor it is to have you. First off, how many of you have ever hosted a get-together or a party? How many of you have ever hated cleaning that party? We have the solution for you, an easy, convenient 24-hour cleaning service that does single-room cleaning as well. I'm John Brookerson, CEO.
I am Rob Dean, CTO.
And I'm Hayden Jones, I'm the CMO. The main problem with most cleaning services is they're actually closed from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Between those times, there's no service that is really available to you. They're all scheduled ahead, so between 3 and 4 hours ahead, you have to schedule to know whenever your event's going to end to have somebody come clean it up for you, as well as they're only whole house cleaning. They do not specialize in single room cleaning, so you have to pay the rate to clean the whole house. We are aiming for customers that either work a night shift, maybe have an Airbnb, lease out their home very often, and are ages 20 to 60.
Our solution, how do we fix this? 24-hour services that allow you anytime, day or night, no matter what time it is, we will be there. We are convenient, and we offer single-room services, which is very different from other services that only offer, that whole house clean that, they give you 2 hours of their time, and that's, cheap like that.
Our competitors, so we have American Housekeeping, which is a subscription-based maid service. Then we have Extra CD, which is a really hard-to-find cleaning service that only, the last time it was updated was 2 years ago and only has one review. Then we have Molly Maids, which is a very expensive service for only 2 people to come out.
What makes us unique is our 24-hour availability, as well as the fact that we use mostly sustainable products. So if you have children or if you're just, concerned for your general well-being, we use sustainable products that are better for the health. And we are specific, so we can hit specific rooms that you want us to clean, or just one room, or if you want your whole house cleaned. For our financial model, our base rates, our single room is actually $40 rate, which every rate increases past 7 p.m. since we're the only available service at that time. Our basic is our $70 rate, which is just a couple rooms. It's not your whole house. Our intermediate is $120, and that's a whole house service. We clean your entire house, but it's not a deep scrub. We're not going to get every nook and cranny. And our advanced is our $200, which is our deep whole house clean, which will have every basically particle of dust.
For our total addressable market, we started with the U.S. population and then took our audience and got down to 70 million. Then if each person uses it 26 times a year, which is once every other week, that gave us 20 million. Then at $60 a unit, that gives us $122 billion.
For our serviceable addressable market, there are 540,000 housing units in San Antonio, 53% of which are actually owned, which comes out to 286,000 housing units that are owned by people in San Antonio. If every person who owns one of these houses uses our service once every other week at a low price of $60, comes out to $297 million in a year. Airbnb, there are 2,500 Airbnbs in San Antonio alone, and at the same $60 rate and 26 times in a year, it comes out to $200,000.
Marketing plan. Now, if you don't know what Nextdoor is an app that allows a community-based app that people, homeowners share and use, whether it's who needs a gardener, who knows a good housekeeper, who knows a good restaurant to eat at. It's an app like that. We feel like we'd get great feedback from that app. Also, Facebook and Airbnb as well. Airbnb, we feel like we could hit our market right there because we all have, I've stayed in Airbnb before, and every time I go, I feel I've compelled to clean it. Always leave it better than you found it.
For our minimum viable product, it's going to be us 3 on call, ready to clean a house that we get a call for. We are going to be looking for one person who is experienced in house cleaning to kind of have an overview over, make sure we do everything correctly. And we would buy all of our own cleaning supplies as well as take them to the house that we are cleaning.
For our timeline, in early February, we're looking to have an order up fundraiser Then after that, in February, we're gonna make the switch over to only sustainable products. Then in March, we're gonna find an expert, look to having at least 5 customers, and then in April, we're gonna take the reviews from the customers and revamp.
Costs. We're asking for the full $500 that's today. We're asking for $330 of those dollars to go towards cleaning supplies, $15 to pay our professional hire paid as well. Most housekeepers get paid anywhere between $9 and $13 an hour, so we're paying the extra incentive. And marketing in an app, which would cost about $80. And we would like to, again, thank you for your time today. We hope you, next time your house gets dirty, you give us a call. We'll get our brooms because it's going to be a mess.
I'd like to know if you could travel to College Station and clean my son's room.
Be honored to.
Just saying. I think it's a great idea. The 24/7 is interesting, especially because, yeah, I mean, sometimes parties I know I don't like cleaning up after parties. So I do like the idea, and I think charging after 7, the price is going up. I know you said for your MVP, you're going to do, you guys are going to do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can call you at midnight, one of you's going to show up and clean my house. Okay. But long-term, how do you propose that where are you going to find these people to do this? I mean, there's probably going to be insurance, and again, they're going to bring their own products. Have you really looked at the cost model, and made sure you're going to be profitable?
So we recently switched ideas within the last week, and so we're still looking at where to be able to find people who don't already have a job with a house cleaning service, but still have experience in house cleaning. So we're still looking for places.
So on the same line, and I may have missed this, sorry, I was taking notes. Are y'all thinking about employees or contractors? How are you thinking about the people that are actually going to be going and doing the work?
Originally, we were going to have at least one person on each job that was an employee, but then we were going to do how Uber has contractors that they hire, and the person with experience was going to work as a foreman, basically. So they were going to look over everybody else, but we decided that it would just be easier just to have people that we hire.
So that's going to increase your costs a lot, obviously, to have employees. So, kind of on that same line, how do your prices? I don't know if you said y'all pivoted really recently. How do your prices compare with those other services that you mentioned?
Molly Maids charges $95 for 2 people to come out to your house. I think that's overly expensive, and nobody really wants to pay $95 for 2 people in 2 hours of their time. We feel that it's the extra incentive to maybe upcharge a little bit after 7 p.m. because nobody else does this. There's no cleaning service that you'll find in San Antonio that cleans after 7 p.m. And especially, 3 and 4, those are some late parties that we're getting into.
And with Molly Maids, it's actually $95 an hour.
How much time do you need? I mean, is it like you need an hour, 2 hours? I mean, what's the lead time that you need before you could show up on one of these if it's 24/7?
So we were thinking about an hour to find somebody to show up, especially if we already have people hired, then they would be on call for us, which is why we pay extra.
Okay, so big picture, guys. You found a problem. I assume some of this was personal experience that you're trying to solve. And
coming home.
So you've got a lot of decisions to make here. What's the business model? Is it a service company, which is kind of what you're describing to me? Is it a matching service where you have a stable of people that are willing to do this for $40 and you're just trying to put them together, okay? And then you're more of a technology company. One is going to be a lot different than the other. On the service side, if that's the route you take, service is all about utilization of, in this case, utilization of labor. And people are looking for when you're putting a service company together, you're looking for stable demand. And by nature, and I guess maybe your target market is the party animal, but by nature, I would imagine after party cleanup is not, it's not real predictable. It's probably not coming from the same place and recurring. Again, maybe there's some people out there that, are perfectly in your target, but I would imagine it's, it's a one-off kind of thing. And so none of that bodes well for you guys managing your labor in such a way that you have high utilization. And in addition, the specialization calls for quick response times. That means people on call, people ready to roll, like Sue was talking about. Parents coming home. We got to get somebody to clean this up quick. It's tough to have that with all these other conditions I'm talking about. So you ought to think about, all right, we've got a problem here. How do we solve it? Maybe one of the reasons this doesn't exist is because it's very hard to manage as a service company, but there might be, utilizing an app, more of a matching situation. There's plenty of people that are sitting around on a Friday or Saturday night that might want to make some good money. I would think because of the specialization, you could probably jack those rates up quite a bit. And that might entice people to actually go work at midnight, 2 a.m. to do something like this.
Yeah,
And there are probably a lot more situations that you could be covering other than just after party cleanup.
although, I mean, to follow along that theme, I think you guys ought to get hyper focused. I actually wrote down after party that Mike just said. I think you need to focus on, like she said, focus on entertainment, parties, and dorms. And zero in on those, and it needs to be very micro event focused, right? So what you're talking about doing is building a two-sided software platform that does on-demand matching, and there's so many tools now, that's not hard to build, right? You have surge pricing, which these guys have alluded to, between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. I think for each market, you want to think about having one FTE or full-time equivalent, like you need to have a market manager in San Antonio, a market manager in Austin. That person is an employee, but they're sort of managing the 1099 independent contractors, which are those, high school kids or college or whoever that have done the background checks and are on the sort of are already familiar with the kind of gig economy. Because initially when you pitched it, I was like, I don't know if these guys have anything here. Then as it kind of went along, I thought about that micro event focused piece, which Mr. Fulton alluded to. I think you could actually gravitate into a swim lane that could be pretty compelling, but it needs to be hyper focused. We're not here to clean your house. We're not here to compete with Molly mates. You have an event, you have a demand, we'll send somebody, here's the price, it's odd hours, we'll take care of it. And if so, here's our app, here's how we match and make it happen. And if you can tighten that message up, it'd be a much cleaner presentation of the business model because everybody understands the problem and there's currently not a solution out there. And if you can say that in a compelling way, then you start to frame up a model that would work.
Okay, and to build on that further, I have written down to define your target and how you're going to reach that user. So as you look at your MVP budget and what you're going to do, you don't really have any marketing other than just setting a website up, right? And so to really know if this concept is going to work, you've got to somehow drive demand. So I would recommend you've got some big ticket items like actually buying a $150 vacuum cleaner. You might want to think about somehow doing that less expensively and defining your target market and then defining how you're going to reach them and figure out how to reach them during the MVP to really test the concept. And so I think you need some more marketing dollars in your MVP and probably less on, I think the big ticket item is the vacuum cleaner. So that will really allow you to come back and have what Mr. Powell was saying, a much more concise story, a target market, and to be able to say, this is how we went about targeting this market, this is how the response was, and this is what our MVP told us.
And I will say, guys, I mean, you said you just pivoted and you've been working on this a week. Great job for that. I want to commend you because this is really good for a week. So
Thank you.
Great job.
All right, well, we will definitely take that into consideration and try to focus on one thing. So thank you.